If you see my eyes doing like, I'm not trying, like, I'm not
No,
bored.
that was me.
I'm not
Literally,
trying to fall
that
asleep
was
on you.
me
I'm just
earlier. I'm sitting, making poor choices, sitting in bed, reading this book, and like every like couple pages, I'm like, I'm awake.
yeah.
And it's like, I'm interested. I'm so sleepy. Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
Where we are so ready for our summer break that we
So
can
close.
taste it.
So
One,
close.
we love you.
We
We
love
love
you. We
talking
love
for you. We
this.
love each other.
But it's
We're
summer.
tired.
It's summer
We're
and I'm sleepy.
tired. Yeah. I'm going to take a fat nap 2 Thursdays from now.
It's gonna be great. It's
Yeah.
gonna be magical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I am Karin from Greece.
I had put Greece, but then I was like, I feel like that might be where Karen's from. So I'm Mandy of Deathcast.
Oh.
Ooh. Yeah.
Welcome back to the podcast. We are in the penultimate episode before summer break. Did I use that word correctly? Am I speaking properly? I don't even know.
I don't I don't know.
I think
I thought penultimate was like the final, the highest.
I thought penultimate was like the one before the last, but I
Let me
could be
see.
wrong.
I'll Google it.
We're writers, guys.
Last. Oh yeah, you're right. Second last. Last
I
but one
did
in the
it!
series. Look at you go.
Yay! Look at me go. In our timeline, it is May 22nd, and in y'all's, it is May 30th. Summer is right around the corner. It's
When
coming.
you're hearing
It's so
this, it's 2 days from my birthday month and Adam Silvera's birthday month.
close. Oh my
So
gosh. Mandy posted a Facebook status that was like, it's 1 month till my birthday. And I was like, okay, Adam Silvera.
I worded it exactly like he does. It's my birthday in a month.
Yes. And I was like, I know what you did. I know what you're doing.
See, and Josh didn't. He was like, "Girl, you better stop. You don't get the reference.
You know,
Get on out of here, show husband.
I understood that reference.
Get out of here." Yeah.
Oh man, love it. This week in fangirling, what'd you do?
I was still, I don't want to say sick because like the worst is over.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm gonna have a lingering cough and like congestion in my face until I'm 150.
it's always the
Like
worst
I'm
part.
so tired. Josh got it, so he's a couple of days behind me, but he's getting to that point. He's still carrying around a big bag of cough drops like they're chips. Um, yeah, it's been really enjoyable. So, haven't done a lot. I did finish Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I freaking loved it, even though it took me forever because originally I started physically reading it because it wasn't out yet. And I came home sick from
Right.
California and it was my plane read. And so I was like, I can't physically read a book. Like it, everything was sitting right here in my face. And it was
Yep.
like, I can't, the pressure in my head. But then the audiobook came out, finished it mostly via audio. I've talked about it in the past two episodes, but we have Odessa, who is like the not as important sister, daughter of the king. Her sister May has been raised to marry, this prince from another land and form this alliance called the Shield of Sparrows. She's going to marry this guy Xavier and ends up she does not get married to Xavier because they say, "Oh, we want that one." The
Mm.
Turins say that sister, that's the one. So she embarks on this journey. It's I really enjoyed it. I got to the part that was triggering for you. That is brutal.
Yeah,
I was
it's
able to
so
keep on
quick.
trucking. It's so quick and so unexpected.
Hmm.
Trigger warning: there is a very abrupt, graphic child death,
Hmm.
but being very abrupt. If it is something where you're like, I don't really like it, but I can like get past it, like I am,
Hmm.
it is over very
It's
quickly. And
so
other than it
fast.
haunting the main character, it's not something that takes up like pages and pages. So you don't have to worry about like, you know,
Yeah. It's so
gruesome graphic
it's
detail.
it's so abrupt, like it happens so fast, but because I was not expecting it, and that's one
Yeah.
of my triggers, I was like, no, I need a break. I'm taking a
Yeah.
break.
I did not take a break because it's not something that like I'm not gonna say like I love when a child dies,
No.
like that's not it. But it's not something where unless it's super, super graphic,
Right.
it's not gonna take me out of the story like it does
Right.
you. You're a mom. It to understand my best friend Brandy is the same way. She would
Yeah.
have like been comatose. But the ending, oh my gosh, you guys. Very, very exciting ending. Obviously I'm dying for more. I had posted an Instagram story where I had texted my husband from the plane and I was like, I have to tell someone, I have to say this to someone because if I know I'm right and I want to
hmm
be able to like point back and say like this is where I was right.
hmm
And he's like, thanks for that. I was right.
I
I
was
got to
gonna
send it to Karen
I was
because
gonna
she
text it
got
to
to
you.
that
Yeah.
point.
I was gonna text it to you. I'm like,
Hmm.
well, I'm like, I know this is has to be it. But I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just wait. But like, I had the
Yeah.
same thought. The same
Yeah.
thought.
And it's a very exciting thing to be right about too.
Yes.
Um, and I don't want to I don't want anybody to think like, oh, it was obvious. No,
No.
it
It's
wasn't.
definitely
And, like, I'm
it's
sure there were a lot of people that were like,
I think it's I think part of it is it's not obvious. I don't think it's very like it's made very obvious from the words that she uses in the book at all. But
no, she's very intentional. Yeah.
I think also as fantasy readers, we expect something. And so we're in
Yeah.
the back of our minds, like constantly thinking, like, there's going to be some big
What is the
surprise,
twist? There's got to
especially
be a
since it's
twist.
like the start of a series. Like we know, and probably big
Yeah.
fantasy readers would have an
Yeah.
inkling. I think if you're going into it just reading and not really like thinking, plotting, because some
Yeah.
people can, they can
Yeah.
just read something and enjoy it and not think about what's going to happen
Well, it's
next.
also a writer's mentality too of
That
like, what
too.
would I do? And then,
Yes.
yeah, you're like, oh, this is fucking brilliant. It's
Yeah.
brilliant because there's so many little like nuggets
Yeah. If you
that
look
seem
back on it, yeah.
inconsequential.
If you look back on it, you're like, oh, that's obvious. Like, I'm not gonna say, but there's this one scene where it's like, once you know and you look back on it, and during this scene, I was reading it and I'm like, this is gonna be important to this theory that I
Yeah.
have going
Yeah.
forward. And I was
Yeah.
like, it's so
And I love
validating.
that. I
It's
freaking
so
love it.
good. It was so
So
good.
like I don't have other than like add a trigger warning about child like specifically that says child death.
hmm
I have no notes
Yeah.
about this book. Like
I
no
mean,
notes.
I'm still where I was before. Like I haven't picked it up since I had to take a break, but like I was loving it. Like up
Yeah.
and and I'm still like it's not bad. That was just me personally. Like I needed a warning, so I'm like it's not bad. Like
Yeah.
I'm having a good time. The story is great. The
And I
writing is
will tell
excellent.
you the only thing that this might be it's a very, very minor spoiler, if anything, because we've already told you a child dies.
Mhm.
The only time there's no more child death that I recall. And the only like reference to that is the main character's like grief about it. And so
Mhm.
like she has two names in her head
Mm,
of specific people who have died that she feels are her fault. So she like makes it a point to know the child's name. And
mm,
so anytime she's spiraling to, justify her own thoughts, it's she mentions, that little boy died because of me. But
mhm.
it's not like a flashback or anything like
Right,
that.
right.
It haunts her.
Yeah.
So just for your trigger warning,
Mhm.
it's not going to come up again, but it's going to come up again.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it just and memory of like I should have done something different. If I hadn't, then this wouldn't.
right. Yeah.
So loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. I've binged all of the next latest season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives because reading physical books wasn't it. It's if the Real Housewives were religious and sober.
I'm like
It's so
so
strange.
fascinated. I'm so fast because
Me too.
see, here's the thing. I went to school at one of like the top party schools in the US, like for college, and I didn't start drinking till I was 21 and I graduated college before I turned 21. So I didn't do any of that. So all of my friends during college were Mormon, like for the majority of my friends, they were Mormon. And so like
Yeah.
I'm so familiar with the Mormon faith and all of like that side of stuff, like the religious side of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm just like there's a whole series, like reality series that like I
Yeah.
cannot
Like
wrap
the
my mind
twins,
around
one of
it.
the twins' besties is Mormon, and like
Hmm.
they invited one of the twins went, the other one I think had something else going on, to like a dance at their church.
Hmm.
And of course she went. And like she said it was a blast. She said the only
Yeah.
thing strange was like if someone asked you to dance, like you can't tell them no because like
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm not saying this is a Mormon faith thing. I'm just saying this specific church is like
Yeah.
I don't like it's mean
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, but if you don't want to dance with somebody,
Yeah.
like you shouldn't have to. So the one of the twin that went was like, I just kind of looked busy if
Right.
I, didn't
Yeah.
want to be asked to dance. But she was like, I did. If, someone asked me, I danced and then we had a good time. Yeah, this is, I don't know, because I don't know a lot of Mormons that that would be able to say like that's 100% real or that's 100% staged or whatever.
Hmm.
I know that they the funniest thing to me because they're not supposed to do coffee.
Right. Caffeine.
They go no, it can't be caffeine because they go insane on soda. They will go like you would go like I go to Seven Brew and get my, I don't get coffee because I don't like coffee. Like my nieces go to Seven Brew and they're like, I want a venti iced mocha with
Hmm.
vanilla cream and cold foam. That's how they are, but with soda. They'll be like, "Can I get a dirty Dr. Pepper with coconut milk? Add a spritz of pineapple, like Tarani syrups, multiples going into their sodas."
Hmm. Hmm.
It's the strangest concept to me. Like the thought of putting milk in a Coke,
Yeah.
unless it's like a Coke float. And that's
Right.
ice cream. That's not milk. So like stuff like that. They're like sugared up. I don't know that I like any of them. They all like there's one that you really like in season one who becomes like insufferable in season two. Then there's one, I might like Macy. She might be the only one. And the rest of them are just like catty and manipulative and mean. And I get like it's great TV.
Oh, I'm
It is
sure.
great TV. But oh my God, if I had to sit in a room with these girls, I would be like, please get
I'm
me out of here.
truly like I need to find some time to like binge the two seasons because I'm truly so fascinated. As
It's
somebody who
quick, it
is
goes
like,
by quick.
yeah, as somebody who has a deeper understanding than the general public of like the Mormon faith, um,
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated.
So you don't have to do it this way, but there's a Vanderpump Rules tie-in. Okay.
I know, because
Yeah.
I was watching something and there was a commercial and it was like, I think it was commercial for the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and they were saying like they were at the Vanderpump Villa and I was
Yes. So
like,
they go to Vanderpump Villa this season in Italy, and one of them has like a something, an unknown something that we still don't know with one of the guys working there. But Stassi Schroeder is like the on-site guest for the entire summer, and she is like Vanderpump Rules legend. Like
right.
she's one of the most notable cast of Vanderpump Rules. So to get the full effect, you got to go
Yeah.
back 12 years and do
God.
Vanderpump Rules. You could not, but I would maybe suggest at least watching the Mormon Wives episode of Vanderpump Villa before you watch season 2 because they're going to be talking about Marciano and you're going to be like I
Who's
have no
Mercy?
idea who that is.
Okay.
And it does show like random clips
Yeah.
because Hulu owns both
Right.
franchises, but it's not going to give you the full context that the whole episode will give.
Hmm.
And all of these women, except two, are married. I think
Hmm.
two. And the one involved in the scandal with Marciano, married.
I'm
Then there's
so
other things
fascinated.
like one of the girls got pregnant with her first child when she was 16, and her now husband is 21. Was 21. There's things like that.
Hmm.
Excellent top tier reality TV though. As someone who watched Vanderpump Rules as it was airing and has
Right.
watched like multiple Real Housewives
Yeah.
seasons or
Yeah.
franchises, whatever, it's really good reality TV. Um, then last night in like 4 hours, Josh and I binged the 4 seasons So it's a dramedy series on Netflix. It's like 30 minutes each, and it's 8 episodes. So like we just sat down on the couch while we were eating dinner, and then we looked up and we're like, oh, it's 9 o'clock and it's over. Um, so it follows a friend group in their like mid 50s that meet up like every season, once a quarter to go on a trip together.
Aw.
They're college buddies or their spouses or like people. It's three couples who have been doing this for 20 years. Stars Steve Carell and Tina Fey are like the bigger names on the show. This might be a spoiler, but it happens in like the first 20 minutes of the entire series. So I'm just going to tell you they're together to celebrate one of the couples, Nick and Anne, as it's their 25th wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
The group splits up on like the first full day that they're there. I think some were going on a walk and some were going into town. They're going to go shopping. And Nick reveals to the group that he's with that I'm going to let this weekend go. We're going to celebrate 25 beautiful years. We have a child, our daughter's in college. We've had a beautiful life. But then I'm going to tell Anne I want a divorce. Okay.
Oof.
He's not happy. He wants a divorce. Oh, the next morning, Anne sends Nick to a bakery 2 hours away. She's like, you got to get the good bagels. We're here with our friends. This place has the best ones. While he's gone, all of the vendors start showing up for the 25th wedding anniversary vow renewal she's scheduled to surprise him with.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Things get even more crazy from there. Like it is laugh out loud funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were cackling at some points, but then 5 seconds later you're crying.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like why I called it dramedy,
Yeah.
because there's no other better word for it.
Right.
So then last night I watched Nonas.
Mm.
So it's the real life story of Jody Scaravella, who opened a restaurant after his mother passed. Like his mother and his nonna were like the most important people in his life. So he lost them both. Gets a little bit of money from his mom, buys this restaurant. His restaurant, Enoteca Maria, is different though because the chefs are entirely grandmothers. It starts out he hires Italian nonnas that he knows, and he's like, "I want you to come in. I want you to make your Sunday gravy. I want you to make your dish. I want you to cook as if you were cooking for your kids and your grandkids." Because like there's nothing like a big Italian family Sunday dinner. And he said, I want to bring that to the people. The real life restaurant now employs grandmothers from across all different cultures, different countries around the world. You
I
can still go.
love
They
that.
are cash only, and you should probably make a reservation. It was precious. The restaurant is called Enoteca Maria. It's on Staten Island, and the chef is the owner is in the movie. Like he
Oh,
stands up to start clapping in one
yeah.
scene, and I was like, I bet. And then it shows photos of him in the end.
I love it.
Very, very cute movie. And then I've started listening to The Survivor Wants to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. You've talked about it. Third
Yep.
book in an interconnected standalone series.
Hmm.
I guess you could call it that. I wouldn't suggest reading it in the wrong order, but anyways, I'm
No.
ready to be hurt. The only thing I will say is today when I was cooking dinner, I got to a very relatable scene where there's like a store where you can pre-buy like mementos
Mm,
for your family once you're gone, whether you've gotten a call from Deathcast or not.
right.
At any time, anybody can do it. And a character has done that. And one of their things is very strict instructions that if they die, to make sure they let their dog smell the body so that the
Hmm.
dog knows they didn't abandon them,
Yes.
that they died, because dogs understand death. And I have threatened everyone I know,
Yeah.
literally, do not let my dogs think I left them
Yeah.
ever. Like, I don't care if you have to cut my hand off and bring
Right.
it to them. Let them know that I died. Do
Yeah.
not let my babies think I left them. And
Yeah.
so, like hearing that, I was like, that is such a mood because that is me. I've threatened to haunt everyone, and I will
Yeah.
follow you around screaming "Love Fool" at the top of my lungs until you go absolutely insane and you beg God for a death cast call to get rid of me. Like, do not do it. Listeners, you're now included in this. If something untimely happens to me and I'm not shown to my dogs, you are all accountable. Okay. And that's what I did this week. What did you do this week?
Morbid. I finished,
Prepared.
yes, I finished up Songs of Summer by Jane L. Rosen. We talked about it in depth last week, so I'm not going to get into it, but it is so good. I thought it was a great send off to like the trilogy as a whole. I loved it. I would also like to go to Fire Island now. Thank you.
Yeah. Tis the
Uh,
season to do it too.
I know, right? I read Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reed. We love Ava Reed. So this is a sapphic romantic dystopian, is how I would describe it. I wouldn't call it a romance, not a capital R romance. It gives massive, massive Hunger Game vibes.
Hmm.
So you have Anessa, who is kind of just trying to get by and make sure her and her brother survive. Like they're living in this dystopian world. And so she is a taxidermist because in this world there are like mutated animals and all of the natural born animals are kind of dying off. And so her and her younger brother Luca are trying to kind of preserve them for posterity because eventually they're all going to be gone and nobody's going to, know what they look like or anything like that.
Hmm.
And to have like a taxidermied like natural animal, it's kind of like a luxury item, right? Because, you know, they're again dying off, so they're endangered species and in this dystopian world, you have the rich who are rich and then you have the poor who are not. And so like
What's
taxidermy
dystopian about this?
taxidermied animals in your home. Very luxury item because who needs that to survive? Nobody. But
Guys, my sister is so luxe. They've got taxidermied animals everywhere.
so you have Anessa and Luca's mother is hashtag the worst. Like the worst. I cannot fathom being this kind of mother. Like absolutely the worst. She, in her eyes, Luca can do absolutely no wrong, and Inessa, who is the one who puts food on the table and brings in money and all of that, she's ungrateful and selfish because she won't go into debt in order to keep their power on. When they don't actually need the power, they just need food. But I
God
digress.
forbid we eat.
God forbid. Also, their mom is very much like, I need to have all the attention on me at all times. So therefore, I'm going to make up all of these illnesses that I have so that people will
Oh
pay attention
God.
to me. She uses what Inessa and Luca believes to be their meager income to pay for all these doctor visits so that, she can feel better from her illnesses. So yeah, that's fun. So you have Ceres, which is this like corporation that controls society and encourages citizens to go into massive debt in order to keep control over the society.
It still sounds like America. I don't know what's
Think of it
dystopian about
like
any of this.
think of it like if Elon Musk were to have full control of the government. It's so hard to imagine.
I can't fathom.
It's going real well in America, y'all. So unbeknownst to Anessa and Luca, their mother has actually been accruing an insane amount of debt and has now reached the threshold for Ceres to kind of swoop in and be like, you've accrued too much debt. Now you are going to be taken away you're eligible for the Lamb's Gauntlet, which is similar to the Hunger Games, but it's just one person who is being hunted down by an angel in order to, be free from this debt or the world. There will be death. And so once somebody has gotten to this threshold for Ceres to intervene, they pick one person, and the parents are allowed to volunteer their children in their place. And so
Um,
their mother volunteers Inessa to take her place because, again, she's ungrateful and selfish. So this is the
would
one
you
thing.
ever let your child go into that
Not a
instead of you?
chance. Not a chance
Like
in the
my mother
world.
would have been like ripped apart.
I
before
would
she would have allowed that.
no, absolutely the fuck not. Like, and their mom is like again the worst. Like she's like, this is I gave you like I gave all these things that I gave. This is time for you to like pay me back for like, excuse me, excuse
Bitch,
me,
what?
like good lord. Yeah. So Saris has chosen Anessa to enter the gauntlet. And the difference between this and the Hunger Games, other than the fact that it's just one person being hunted down, is that people can help them, and it's not in like arena. They basically it's free reign. So an
Hmm.
angel is somebody who generally, as a child, was given up by their parents to Ceres in order to be trained and enhanced into becoming a killing machine. So Melanoe is the angel that's chosen for Inessa's gauntlet, and she's got her own kind of issues going on to deal with and things to prove in this gauntlet specifically. And so, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. So the gauntlet is live streamed for all citizens to watch because, of course, dystopian. Um,
Yeah.
and so it's like it's the story of Melanoe hunting down Anessa and the unlikely partnership that has to develop between the two of them due to spoilery reasons. And it's forced proximity in a dystopian landscape. And yeah, there's hints as to what may or may not happen.
I
Again, I
don't
would
know.
like to reiterate, it is sapphic, romantic, dystopian, not a dystopian romance. There
So
is
no HEA. You heard
very,
it here, folks.
very important distinction. It's excellent. It's Ava Reed. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, they're
Um,
incredible.
it's so, so good. And it's like so terrifying how easy it is to see this happening IRL. Like, yeah. But it's really good. Dystopian is so back, y'all. Like, for real.
I
Unfortunately,
mean,
in real life too.
I think a lot of people are subscribing to the Suzanne Collins mentality of like when I have something to say.
Yeah.
And a lot of people got a lot of things to say right now in
I mean,
America.
girl,
So
for real. Next I read Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man by Jesse Q. Sutanto.
Vera.
My Vera, she's back. Vera's back. She is, life's going. So Vera, being an elderly woman, also who is English is not her first language, she's an immigrant. Um, Vera gets a phone call from somebody claiming that she's like they're checking to make sure that she made this purchase, this very large $4,000 purchase,
Uh-oh.
and you're likely to understand where this is going. It does not go well for Vera. So
Vera.
poor Vera, poor little Vera gets scammed. And lucky for her, her son's girlfriend is a cop, who then immediately makes Vera. Oh, so Vera thinks she's talked to a cop, and there's an open investigation into all of this. And so because she tried calling the cop back for like an update, she did not get an update, so she called her like son's girlfriend and is like, "Hey, can you get me in touch with this officer?" And she's like, "Vera, what are you talking about? There's nobody by that name." And then Vera explains the situation, so then they go down to the police office and they make an actual report and all of this. But while Vera is at the police station, she walks outside and she sees this girl lingering who looks really nervous. And Vera, being the sweet little old grandma that she is like, she needs help. So I'm going to take her to my tea shop and I'm going to sit down. I'm going to talk to her. So this girl, whose name I can't remember because I don't have notes on this, she tells Vera that a friend of hers is missing. And she's, concerned, and Vera's like, "You know what? I'm gonna find out what happened to him for you. Don't you worry." And so Vera does some digging and finds out that he is, in fact, dead. It is a suspected suicide.
Oh.
But something feels wrong. And so Vera goes on her own investigation. again.
Of course she does.
And
Queen.
she kills it. She brings in, just like the first book, she gets these suspects and she interrogates them all and then brings them all together as her into her like found family fold, and it's so cute. She is still having like Sunday dinners with the found family from the first book, and they're all still hanging out, and
Oh,
they're like, yeah, did Vera trick you into something? And they're like, yeah. And so they're like,
maybe a
Vera
little.
Vera do what Vera do, you know? So it's
You know how
great.
Vera be.
It's so good. I'm obsessed with it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I read God Killer and Sunbringer, which is the first two books in the Fallen Gods trilogy, I want to say, by Hannah Kaner. So in this world, gods are outlawed. Which sounds like a crazy thing to say because how do you outlaw gods?
Right.
Well, so in this world, gods are created by people having a need, essentially. So like, okay, this is not a spoiler, but there's a god of lost flip-flops. So enough people have lost flip-flops that
Oh, Jesus Christ.
they're praying for like, oh my gosh, can somebody please help me find my
God
flip-flops
of
kind of.
lost
So
flip-flops.
they're like,
There are
small
too
gods
many.
like that, or like there's, you know, older gods that are, like the god of safe haven and, things like that.
Yeah. God of
So,
fertility, I'm sure. Stuff
yeah,
like that. That's
number of
universal.
gods. So, and in order for these gods to survive, they have to have believers, right? So they're very much like Tinkerbell. If you don't give them attention, they stop existing. Um, so so the king has outlawed gods, which means you can't have shrines, you can't be praying to gods. If there are shrines, they have to be destroyed, that kind of thing, in an effort to eliminate gods.
Yeah.
And so you have, oh gosh, you've got this girl whose name I don't remember because again, I don't have notes, but she is a god killer. And so she goes around, she has a special like weapon.
Skitty. Oh, wait, no.
Nope,
Just kidding.
that's no.
Yeah.
So she has a special weapon that is of a special material that is the only thing that can kill gods. She,
Kissin or Inara.
that's it. Kissin. So Kissin is the god killer, and Nara is this little girl, not little girl, but like a younger girl who goes to Inara and is like, "Hey, I have this situation." Turns out Inara has a god that is linked to her. And they find out
Oh,
that if the
no.
god is killed, then she also dies. And so she goes to Kiss and is like, I need you to help me find a way to separate us. I don't want you to
Yeah.
kill him, even if we are separated, because she's basically grown up with him. Like, they're
Yeah.
friends. Like, he's not a bad guy. He's just the god of little white lies. Like, he's not a bad guy, okay? And so they
Yeah.
go on this journey to try and find XYZ in order to separate the two. Meanwhile, you have Elo? Elo, I think is his name, who is formerly a king's knight. He fought with the king, the now king, in like a war in which they killed a bunch of gods, they took over, blah, 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 all of that. He has trauma obviously, because war. And he has decided he's going to retire from fighting and is now a baker. He is also a boy with the bread. So we do love him.
Ooh,
It's
I love those.
not the same as PETA, but we do love him.
Who is?
But the king, who is like they've been friends forever, he comes back to him. He comes to the baker. He's like, "Hey, I'm dying. I need you to do XYZ in order to help." And so he is now going on this journey to go XYZ and help save his friend's life.
Yeah.
And journeys merge and they all end up journeying together. And they're all also kind of keeping things from each other because secrets. That's how stories work. And
Yep.
it's a fun time. And
It's on my list.
once they get to like the end of their journey, things are revealed, and that leads into further into the trilogy, and so there's more
Yeah.
at play than meets the eye, essentially.
Yeah.
And then I just one thing I want to say. I watched the most recent episode of Dr. Odyssey because I have been keeping up. And there is a scene where someone says something and asked Avery to sing. And she says something like, no one wants to hear that. And let me remind you that Avery is played by Pippa Sue. And I'm sitting here
Everybody wants to hear that.
literally yelling at the TV, no, everyone wants to hear you sing.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And I thought it was the funniest thing for them to
Everybody
the
wants to hear you say that.
funniest thing to include because like it's such like it's like the best kind of like inside joke, right? Because if you know, you
Yeah.
know. You're like, that's
Yeah.
not funny unless you know. And I'm just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So I thought that was hilarious.
That is pretty
And
funny.
yeah. And really quickly, I went to Adam Silvera's tour stop, the last tour stop for The Survivor Wants to Die at the end. It was so much fun. Adam Silvera and Angela Montoya together are fucking hilarious. I adore them. And then I also went to Kennedy Ryan's tour stop for Can't Get Enough, which, again, Kennedy and Jasmine Guillory together, hilarious. Such a good time. If you have authors coming near you, go visit them because it's so much fun.
Go do the things. They're
Go do
fun.
this. So much fun. So much fun.
Yeah.
And that was my week.
I want to ask you if you have a fictional boyfriend, but I think you probably have a fictional granny.
My fictional granny is back. She's back. And there's gonna be a book 3. There's gonna be another book. There's gonna be another book. It's been acquired for adaptation. Like we're living. We're living. Vera Wong, I love you.
Living
I'm
Vera.
so excited. Yes. So this week, no fictional boyfriend because how could I when I have my fictional granny back? All right, how about you?
I have a fictional bestie this
Okay.
week. It's Claude from the Four Seasons. He's this hilariously passionate Italian man. He's married to Danny. He's emotional and quirky and so fun. He's like the life of the party to the point that some people think he's ridiculous, but like
Hmm.
I think he's awesome. But then I also saw a lot of myself in his character because he's a caregiver and his
Mm-hmm.
husband is having like health issues and he is like insane about like good morning, you have to take your medicine at exactly 7:15, and he's putting it in his mouth and he's handing in the and he like drives himself insane taking care of Danny during like a health thing.
Yeah.
And he's like at one point it's like a heart, like he has to have like a catheter procedure, which like it sucks, but it's like not,
Right.
like open heart surgery either.
Right.
But he's like, I'm putting it off because I'm nervous. And his husband, Claude, is like, do you not want to live? Don't you want to live? What is it about me? You don't want to live? It is just like meltdown screaming. It is so cute. Do you not
Oh,
want to live?
love, 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 love.
Yeah, he's my sweet baby angel. So I'm gonna go with Claude.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
That sound means we have an intruder alert.
It's an
I'm so
intruder.
excited. This week, y'all, we have Mima Tipper, author of Cat's Creek Summer. We're so excited to have you. Thank you for being here. So what we normally start out with is, can you give us the elevator pitch of the book for anybody who hasn't heard about it?
Okay, thanks. And first, I want to say thanks so much for hosting me. I'm really looked forward to being on here with you guys.
Oh, we're so
We're so
excited to have
excited.
You have
you.
a really fun show. I love your fangirling because it's just there's not enough of it. There's not enough fangirling.
True.
Oh,
There's
so
not enough
true.
fangirling in the world.
Yes.
People are too quick to just move on. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
all right, Cat's Creek Summer. It's about soon-to-be high school freshman Kat Baker, who is determined to spend her summer training with the high school cross-country team because she really wants to make a big mark in high school when she arrives. And then her Greek mother tells her that she and their little brother, Kat's little brother James, are going to spend the summer in Greece with the Greek side of the family in the family's very small rustic cottage in a fishing village. And Kat, goes along, but she's determined to keep her running dream alive. And when she gets to Greece, it's really hot, and there's also some cultural things that happen that make it really hard for her to run the way she wants to. So she kind of makes some risky choices to keep things going. And during that time, she meets a very cute boy and gets into some trouble, and learns a lot about what it means to be half of a culture that you don't really feel like you belong to. And eventually, speaks up and claims the heritage that is uniquely hers. So that's it in a nutshell.
It's so, I
So
love it.
I know that your bio, like on your website and everything, says that you're half Greek and half American. Did you
Mhm.
have a transformative trip to Greece, like Kat, when you were younger, or like did you wish you did and you just kind of grew up in both places, or?
Well, that's a really good question. So I decided to write this book because I'll just very briefly say. So I got an MFA, and I went into the MFA program with a fantasy manuscript that I was really in love with. It was all full of dark fairies and magic and magical lands, and
That's
you
everything
know
I want.
Can we
like
have that
Holly
too?
Black is my hero. So it was really like that's like what I love. So I love to read. So I went into it with that, and I was real excited to work on that, and did. And then at the end of the first semester, my advisor at the time just said, this the fairy, I like the fantasy, but would you consider ever writing something more personal? And at first I was kind of like, oh, she didn't like my dark fairies. That's really sad. But that wasn't really the case. But I thought about what she said. And so, getting to your question, I am half Greek, and I did grow up spending a lot of summers in Greece with the Greek side of my family in a very small rustic fishing village, very much like Paralia. Paralia is not a real place, but there's so much of my background in this book, although it's fictionalized, and Kat is not me. She is like the total opposite of the kind of girl I was at that age. I just would never have taken the chances and risks that she did. I wouldn't have pushed back the way she did. And that actually, while I was writing this book, I really thought about that a lot, because Kat kept asking questions that I thought, like, why didn't I ask that question when I was that age? Like, why don't I speak Greek? And why didn't we come here more? And, all these kind of whys. And so that was very, very good self-reflection for me. But, that said, it's not it's not my story. I just wanted to create fiction using using a lot of personal memories to make it, uniquely mine and personal. So
I love that.
Yeah.
that's the story of Kat.
As a mom, cat stresses me out. And I feel like any guardian of children, especially teenage girls, is gonna feel very similarly, because I'm reading this and I'm like, girl, you are in a foreign country. You're sneaking out at night.
Mhm.
How is it writing that? Like, does it stress you out writing it as much as it stresses me out to read it? Because I'm like, I'm just picturing like a teenager in a foreign country just walking around, running around outside at night, like,
Well,
stress me
that,
out.
but also the angst of like wanting to stay home and run when adults would kill, like you're
Oh,
a summer in
right.
Greece.
I
Please, no, no,
Oh
don't make me
no,
do
the
it.
horror.
know.
So getting into the angsty teenager headspace.
I
Yeah.
know. I really, I've got my own kids and, of course, my own experiences, and I just thought, that is often the case with teens, especially that age. They would rather sit in a parking lot than go on incredible adventures. We would offer our kids to do incredible things, and they'd just rather be with their friends. They'd rather do what they wanted to do. So I really wanted to kind of create a tension there where it's also the kind of fish out of water thing where when she gets there, she just doesn't really feel like she belongs. She doesn't speak the language. She feels that she doesn't really look like her brother or mom. She looks more like her dad's side. The parents are divorced. So she has a lot of kind of mixed feelings about the experience. And it's not that she's not open to it. It's just that she feels kind of blindsided that this is how the family is going to spend the summer. And then I think the running at night, it is it's a very small village, and I kind of feel like she just wants what she wants. So she feels like she's willing to take that to explore that risk to just kind of see what she can do. And I feel like she in her way, she thinks she's taking precautions, like with the flashlight and keeping to the side of the road, and there's not a lot of traffic, so she feels like she can. She just wants to achieve her goal, and this is the only way she feels like she can do it. So, and then of course, when certain things start to happen, she's very motivated to get out there.
Yeah.
So,
She's very much
yeah,
like a teenager. Like it's yeah, I feel like a lot of teenagers would be able to kind of relate to her choices, her her thought process and things while like me, an adult reader, is just stressed out the whole
Like,
time.
Oh,
stop this foolishness.
yeah,
You're going to Greece. Be
right,
happy.
right. I totally hear you. I mean, I have my daughter. I mean, Kat is actually a lot more like my own daughter, who's now 25, than like me, not like me at all. And there are still things where she says, oh, mom, can I tell you about like that sophomore year when,
No,
like that week when things were that? I'm like, no, we're too
no,
soon, too
no.
soon. I don't want to
I don't
know.
want to know about
My
it.
mom
No,
is the
never tell
same
me.
way.
Never tell me.
Oh my gosh, some of the stuff I found out like after the fact with even my sons who are even older, they're like, is it too soon to talk about? And it's like, too soon. I'm not sure I can hear this stuff. When
Yeah.
you're just thinking, oh, I'm doing such a good job and my kids are so doing so well. And then you start hearing some of the what goes on,
Shenanigans.
like,
Oh gosh.
holy moly. So anyway,
My mom will get mad and she will, like, if my sister and I bring up something that we did that she didn't know about, she'll get mad like it just happened and we're, 15
yeah.
and 17 again. And she's like, wants to ground us. And we're like, we're married. Like, we have our own houses. And she's like, stop
Yeah,
telling me these things.
it's a strange thing. I also have a much younger sister. And my mother, Greek mother, used to call and say, "Oh, your sister is doing this," and I would be sort of caught between being sister and feeling motherly to my high. I was in my late 20s when she was in her mid-teen years, and my mom would tell me
Oh,
some stuff, and I was just like, "Oh gosh!" And then then I would talk to my sister, and I was like, "Could you just give her a break? I mean, she's exhausted.
yeah.
Come on, just
I
a little break." And
I
yeah,
don't have biological children, but I have like my 16-year-old twin nieces that live with me half the year while their dad is overseas for work. And I tell them all the time, like there's gonna be a day where you're gonna call me and you're gonna be like, I am so sorry.
yeah,
I am
exactly.
so sorry for every time I was moody. I am so sorry for every time I left a dirty dish in my room to collect a science
Oh gosh.
experiment because someone's gonna be doing it to you.
Mhm.
That's what my mother used to say. Her favorite phrase was, "You'll get it from your kids. You'll get it
Yep.
from your kids."
Yep.
And I do the same with my mom. I am like,
Yeah.
I am so sorry because now we're dealing with this and this and this. And she just laughs. She's
Yep.
like,
Yep. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
goes around always comes back.
Oh
Right.
yes.
Well, I think kids, just sort of getting back to teen readers, I think teens like to, or young readers, they like to read about like somebody who's making some maybe bad choices and just like, okay, what's gonna happen here? Like she's doing this. I don't know if I would do that or how I would feel, but let's see what happens. And it's a safe,
Yeah.
books are kind of I mean, even though they are very provocative and make you think and learn and grow, they're also kind of a safe place for readers, even older readers, to experience things that they aren't really necessarily going to try to experience in their own life, in their own
Right.
lives.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
That kind of
yeah.
perfectly segues into a question that I had written down. So I looked at your website and you offer so many ways to like present not just your book or like works that you've written, but offering like writing workshops and being in libraries and especially to like middle grade kids. And I think that's so special. What is it about that age in particular where you're like, these minds need to be nurtured and we need to cultivate this love of stories and writing?
Well, that's a great question. I think there's a time. I mean, this book, like, it had sort of an interesting publishing journey. That's like another story, but it's really targeted at sixth to ninth graders. And apparently, according to a couple articles I've read from, school librarians and middle school teachers, this is an age where it's kind of underrepresented in children's fiction. There's like middle grade, which the characters are 12-year-olds are the oldest. And then you get into YA, where the characters are often 16, 17, and dealing with, kind of what's happening after high school. And I think you lose a lot of readers because it's like, where are our stories? Where are stories about this age group? And so you lose a lot of readers there. And I think that's so sad because I get it. I mean, I was a passionate reader way before I even wrote anything. I've just been a passionate reader forever. And that's why I write, because I love reading so much. I love stories. I love movies. But I do remember getting to about middle school and books, kind of the school books and the books I was reading at home and the books I was reading at school, it was completely different. And I kind of lost a lot of my reading love at school because it was work. I mean, they were giving you books and telling you had to answer questions and do quizzes. And I think it became not as fun. And because books, I was just talking to a group the other night where I just said, okay, so my son, when he was in high school, this is just a little anecdote. He was in ninth grade and he started reading Romeo and Juliet, which like everybody reads Romeo and Juliet in like ninth or 10th grade. They come up. Mm-hmm. And I was excited because I thought, oh, this is like one of the first really YA stories. I mean, these are two teens that are going to do incredibly, make very bad choices, and they're so in love. And the parents are completely clueless. I mean, that's just like perfect YA territory. And I was excited to read it with him, and he just looked at me and said, "Mom, I don't want to read this." And I was like, "Why? It's going to be really fun. We'll make it fun. Like, let me help you make it fun." Of course, classic mom. And he's like, "Mom, this is not how this is supposed to be experienced. This is a play. I'm supposed to see it on a stage. I'm not supposed to read it and then dissect it in a class with a teacher and them telling me like what every line means. That's just stupid." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's kind of right." Now what do I do? You're way too smart, kid. That never occurred to me, but I think back to my own, and maybe you guys have this experience too, that at that age, you just kind of, there's so much happening in your body and in your life and in your desires, and stories just can seem very peripheral to your experience. And how do we make them relevant? How do we make that age group feel engaged? And of course, there are tons of kids who are very engaged with stories through games and movies and all kinds of things. There are plenty of people like that, but I think for that age group, it's just trying to get them to just explore their own stories and think about, like, my workshops that I do are really about, digging deep into your memories for fiction, like how you can feed your fiction through thinking about your memories. And I think that everybody has stories to tell, and it's just fun to think about, like, oh, I could take this memory and I could put it in the hands of a completely different character and see what that character does with this story.
Yeah.
And that's and also just show examples of how, I've done that in different things that I've written. So I just feel like there's so much opportunity to engage with kids and get them to get excited about different stories and find out, like, what do you like to read? What kind of stories do you want to tell or experience? And I know teachers, I respect teachers, I love them. And I know they have books or tools that for them to teach, and it's important to do that. But I just kind of wish that maybe they could say to the kids, like, okay, we're going to read this book, but this is for this purpose. This is not why this writer wrote this book.
Yeah.
The writer was like someone who like cared passionately about this story and worked on it really hard and wanted to share it with an audience and didn't write it so people would pull it apart and get tested on it and have some.
They wrote it for it to be enjoyed.
Yeah, and have some teachers say, "Oh, that's the wrong answer. Like, what did you think of the book?" And then the kid says something, and they're like, "Oh, actually, that's not right." It's like,
if that's what they felt, it is right.
If that's what they got out, that's what they got out of it. It's just so I kind of wish that I'd been told that when I was younger. I wish my teachers had said, "Yeah, we're gonna read, whatever, To Kill a Mockingbird." in eighth grade. And
Yeah.
but that's not why she wrote this book, for us to pick it apart. And I'm thinking some of these books aren't even like, I mean, like The Great Gatsby. I don't know. Did you guys read The Great Gatsby in high school?
Yes. My nieces just read it
Do we really think that F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote that book for
for
teenagers?
16-year-olds.
I
No.
mean, not that I'm not going to take it away from them, but pretty
Yeah, they
sure,
loved it,
yeah,
but
pretty
Yeah.
sure that's not who he was thinking of when he was writing his
no.
book. So, anyway, that's just like a long story. But anyway, I love kids. I love being with kids. They just say cool things and they have such great stories and they're just fun. So,
You're so right about that like sixth to ninth grade being like missing from fiction
Mhm.
though, because I have a whole like I'm in a bonus room in my house that like
mm-hmm,
is like my husband has an Xbox and have
mm-hmm,
my work from home set
mm-hmm,
up, but it's like bookshelves on all of the
mm-hmm,
walls, and they've grown up in this house, more than half of the year, every year of their life since they were 9 or 10. Um, um, and they would come like you grow up in a house full of books, and so they would come up and they would be like, well, can I read this book? And it's like, well, if you were my biological child, I don't know that I would censor your reading, but you're not. I have to go with what I think your dad would say. And I think that maybe the last or Akatar,
mm-hmm,
maybe
mm-hmm,
not when we're
Mhm.
14,
right.
maybe not, what Haunting Adeline. I haven't even read
Mm-hmm,
that. Maybe not, but I have like a YA shelf,
mm-hmm,
but there would still be books that like I thought were a little too old for them, not plot wise, but just like they're not going to relate to these characters. So it
mm-hmm,
was hard to find books that they could relate to that they wouldn't feel was like infantilizing them, and making them like, oh, this is for babies, but
mm-hmm.
that they would be engaged with.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's a
it's really hard.
struggle.
And I mean, back in the day, it's like there really weren't all these different genres. It was just everything was juvenile fiction. It was just juvenile fiction. So I was reading, I mean, in eighth grade, ninth grade, I was reading Go Ask Alice, and I Never
Yep.
Promised You a Rose Garden is about, mental health. And nobody, I mean, no one ever took a book out of my hand ever. I mean, I was reading
Right.
like all kinds, all over the map. And now, I mean,
My mom read Helter Skelter at 8.
oh my gosh, ouch. I read that in high school. I read that in high school for that was definitely high school.
her her cool older cousin left it at her
Mhm.
grandparents' house, and she was like, he is so cool, I want to be like him, I'm going to read what he's reading. And she was like, my
Yeah.
funniest thing about it is she didn't know what LAPD meant. Like she didn't know it
Oh,
was the police. She thought it was the lap. She called it the lapid.
the Lapid. There you
And
go.
she's like, even if I reread it to this day, I'm like, and then the lapid came.
Right. Well, I think it's funny because kids, I mean, they can only when they read something. I mean, some writers are incredibly they descriptive and graphic, but it's like kids only know what they know. It's like
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
only what they can imagine, and of course now with the internet, they can imagine a whole lot
A
more
whole
than
lot
I
more.
could at that age. I mean, I
See,
had
I was fine with Beverly Cleary at that age, but they would be like, that's a little too young.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
no, it's not.
I know. Well, that's probably. I was still reading Winnie the Pooh when I was like in seventh grade. I just love those cute stories. But I just read
Yeah.
everything. I read all over the map, and I read the Akatar books, and I mean, I thought they were really entertaining. But it's like the first one is the only one that's really a YA book. It's like
Exactly.
after that the characters
Exactly.
all age out, and then it's like I don't know. I didn't get why some people are like, why are these books in the children's section? It's like, yeah, they're because they're
They
really
probably shouldn't be.
they're
Yeah.
not even YA books. I mean, I went to my own library and saw the final book, the one a court of silver flames. I
Silver
think
Flames.
I was like, this book does not belong down here. It belongs
No.
there.
No.
So that's kind of a tough thing. But yeah.
See, like I would let them read Throne of Glass, but I'm like, Akatar, they're 16 now, and I'm like, Akatar, we're not ready for it quite yet.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't look you in the eyes if you read Akatar at
There's a lot of
16.
dysfunction in that world.
Yes, for
I don't know.
sure.
I'm kind of mad at her. I'm just going to say it because I really want that last book. Is she going to write it? I don't know. I would like to read the final story.
At this point, I'm like, you have fans that are
Yeah,
dying, not knowing
I
like
want.
what happens.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
the final trio.
Yeah.
It's like you said,
I get making
incredible.
them wait a little, like build a little bit of anticipation, but it's
But
been
it's been
5 years,
years.
I think.
It's been
Yeah,
years. It's
I know. So
time.
I'm like sad about that, and I get a little mad at. I just have like after I'm trying to think. there were a couple of series that I started that it took so long to get the next book that I was like, all right, I'm done with that. There's only one author that I am a sucker for that, and that's Cassandra Clare. She's like totally got me. I will reread the entire Dark Artifices again before The Wicked Powers comes out. I'm sure it's like thousands of pages because I've forgotten all the main plot points by now. But
I'm that way with Tahira Mafi. I will wait as long as I need to. I will reread, but she's got a book coming out just about every 6 months for the foreseeable future. So I'm like, she's gonna keep
yeah,
me
you're
fed.
good.
We're
Yeah,
good.
you're good.
We're good.
You know? But yeah, but that's like frustrating to me to wait forever and just
Hmm.
and then forget, and then I'm just like dying to know what happens next. And it's like, all right, the series has got to be done. I'm not reading like
Right.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
do anymore.
right, get done so I can read those books, but not before. But yeah.
Um, I do have to circle back and just tell you something awful that happened in my household recently. Because you were talking about how, F. Scott did not write The Great Gatsby for 16-year-olds to tear apart. My nieces read it this past semester and they liked it. Like they even on their little Instagram stories every now and then they'll make a reference to The Great Gatsby and I die of pride. I started college as an English major. Thrilled. Um, but they brought home the little like rubric from how they were going to read it. And it was like, today we're going to read chapter 1 through 3. And then tomorrow we'll watch a scene from the movie. And then we'll
Ooh.
read chapters 8 through 10. And then we'll read some of a play. And it's like the teacher didn't have them reading the full book.
Oh
I was
wow,
so scandalized.
that is that. Yeah, that's hard. That's
Wild.
really hard. I can understand trying to make it to bring it to life in a certain way, but it's like
Yeah.
one at a time. Read the book.
Right. Watch the
You know,
movie at the end. Like
yeah.
have
I
Yeah.
a
mean,
movie
Leonardo.
day.
Like, are you gonna? Was it Leonardo or Robert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't put Leonardo in their head. Now it's Leonardo. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it takes away from the. It takes away.
No, it was
Yeah, that's. I
awful.
mean, I
Yeah.
kind of get the experiment, someone trying to bring it and make it relevant and bring it to life, but it's
They
oh
were like, I
so
don't
hard.
like skipping the chapters. So I think they
Yeah.
just read through because they were like, I don't
Yeah.
feel right living in a house with you and not reading chapter 5 and
Oh,
then not
phew.
reading chapter 13 and 14. Like,
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
can't do that.
That's just
That's
traumatic.
Criminal. Criminal.
that's really brutal. I mean, I
They
already
did the same thing with Romeo and Juliet. It was we're gonna
oh,
read these scenes, then we're gonna watch a movie. Then there's a modernized version that we're gonna
oh,
read a few scenes from, and they just puzzle pieced it all together.
wow.
Terrible,
Yeah,
terrible.
that's
Mm-mm.
terrible
This
because
isn't how he meant for it to be
that's
No, that's
studied either.
definitely not how it was meant to be read.
yeah, I'm confused. I'm like confused because
That
Exactly.
hurts my
books are
brain.
they're like based on it's like based on the book, not necessarily the book. It's
Right.
Word for word. As
Yeah.
they may
much as I would kill for
change
that.
and change story. I mean, there's books that have been completely changed as movies, and
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's like that's a total. And authors will say when I always read authors and they're like, oh, how do you feel about the movie of your book? It's like, hey, my book is still on the shelf.
Yep.
My book is still a
It's
book. That
like Aragon. They're two different things. Or the Aragon movie doesn't exist, as I like to
yeah.
say.
I mean, even
It
the
doesn't.
Cassandra Clare, even like City of whatever they did the first movie. It was similar, but they changed them. They
Yeah.
Yeah.
changed it so much, and it just was not even the same at all. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
that's
rough.
hard.
It's
Oh
rough here in
gosh,
Georgia.
that's rough.
Terrible.
Phew.
So we don't want to keep you too long, but we do have a couple questions that we always ask. They're just kind of like little fun questions. The first one is we have a segment on the podcast which we call Fictional Boyfriend of the Week, where we pick a character
Mm.
that from whatever we've read or watched that week that we just really vibed with. It doesn't necessarily have to be a boyfriend. This week I had a fictional granny. Mandy had a fictional bestie. We've had fictional pets in the past. Are there any fictional characters that you just really love? You're like, that's my favorite. Everybody should meet them. Either books, movies, television, whatever.
Oh my gosh, so many. Well, okay, so this is only a recent read because I'm reading the Cassandra Clare Kickstarter books. And Jace Whalen was mentioned in the one that I'm reading, and he's like definitely probably one of my all-time high fictional boyfriends. I just love that character. I think he's just he's gorgeous, he's brave, he's flawed, he has so many, he's got all those cool runes all over him. It's just, I just love that. I love that character. And I'm just a big Holly Black fan. I've reread her modern fairy tales over and over, and I love Royben. He's just like the perfect elf king to me.
Yes.
Love him so much, and because he's flawed and damaged, and all those really awesome things that make you just want to, soothe him, soothe his brow. So those are probably like my two top fictional boyfriends, and yeah, I think those are my two.
They won't read it yet because they heard about something. My nieces will not let me live down the Carden Greenbrier has a tail. And I'm like, you won't care. You do not care that man has a tail.
It's like so soft on her leg, and I mean,
I'm like, once you read and like be angry a little closer to home, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I love
By you, so I am forever undone. Get out of here. You don't care about that tail.
I love Holly Black, how she takes she just really knows those worlds and those stories so well. And I mean, even like Valiant is one of my favorite books ever. I love that kind of Beauty and the Beast retelling kind of Beauty and the Beast. It's just so great. I just love her. And I mean, she's got this hot troll. He's like so hot. I love him. He's green. He's got fangs. I mean, he's got the sheep eyes, which are kind of, when you really think about him, they're creepy, but she just makes him he's so wonderful. He's so I love her book.
She's a magician.
She is a magician, and I love her writing so much. And I love those Elfhame books. I just reread them. I reread them all to read the final one. And then I didn't like the title of it was like, what was it called? Why the Elf King hates
King of Elfhame hates doesn't like stories.
Yeah, and I just like, what is this? This is silly. And then of course I was obsessed, and I had to have it, and so I got it and just loved it so much. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I almost didn't read this. I just thought it sounded kind of
right.
What is this going to be? This sounds kind of weird. Like this, like stories. I don't know. It just didn't. The title didn't appeal to me, but I'm like, that's like one of my favorite books. I wasn't even going to read it, but I just like, I got to read every single thing. So I had to have
Karin, this is your sign.
That's my sign.
Elfhame series.
I read the first one and the ebook novella, and I just need to keep going. I just haven't yet.
When you get to the Jude letter.
Oh yeah, or the Karin, the short story about Karin, the sister.
Yeah.
So good. I just love her. I mean, I've met Holly Black, so I know she's amazing, but she's one of those people. It's like, don't ever tell me anything bad about her. I don't want to know anything.
No, yeah.
I want to worship her. Mm-hmm. Let me worship her in peace, and just leave me alone. I just want to worship her and not be. I don't want to hear anything bad about her, and not like anyone would say anything. But sometimes these things happen. Your heroes get like things happen. There's a book. It's called Monsters: A Fan's Dilemma. And it's a writer who has written a journalistic deep dive into what does a fan do when an artist that they love has like been transformative in their life, that they just love their work so much, turns out to have like bizarre, just something horrible about them. It's like, how do you move forward?
Cope with that.
Yeah, like, can you still be a fan? Can you still love the work? Can you separate the work from the art? And it was a really interesting book, and I don't really have the answer, but it was interesting to think about how that can prey on a fan's mind when they feel like this is a person who just like has been transformative to my life and has taught me.
And they went so left.
Yeah. Like,
I'll have to read that.
Anyway, so please don't anyone ever tell me anything bad about Holly Black, or else I
don't think there's going to be anything about her, but I feel the same way about Tahereh Mafi. Please, I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
So we've touched on it a little bit, but another question that we like to always ask is we love your book. We're going to tell everybody that they need to read your book, but like, so what are you reading? What are your favorite books?
Well, oh my gosh, I just love so many books. There's so many books I love. Right now I just finished Secrets of Blackthorn Hall. And I just started the next one, Careful of Books. And I'm like, so love being back in the Shadowhunter world for a little while. And And then, I'm listening to like this whole series, the Maisie Dobbs books. So she's a private investigator between
Ooh.
World War I and World War II, and it's just really,
Oh,
she has like this slight kind of um like she can she has sort of slightly extrasensory perception, and they're just very deeply told stories about that time in history. So she just sort of the writer picks like something that's happening in history and then dives deeply into a mystery surrounding it. So I just feel like I'm learning so much, but they're really good books. And I
that's
just read
cool.
Emily Henry's her latest book, because I'm just loving on some Emily Henry. I mean,
She can do no wrong.
Yeah.
well, it's interesting. It's interesting because I think she is her adult books are like, or books for a grown up, not her YA books. I read one of those and I just thought, wow, this didn't intrigue me nearly. And, I love you, Emily Henry, but like Beach Read is one of my favorite books. I've read it a couple times, and I really liked Great Big Beautiful Life. It was really,
It wasn't her best, though,
no,
by far.
no,
No, I didn't think so. But it got, like, I did the audiobook. It got me through
yeah, I liked
cleaning, house chores.
I liked it. There was, I definitely liked it. And I liked, I don't know, I've liked all her books. Some of them I liked it better the second time I listened to it, but she just sort of captures like a voice and the relationships. And I like how she kind of fits in, some, like, just all different kinds of characters that have different things going on with them, like their anxieties or things with their families. I think some of the family stuff really speaks to me, and the romances are really great. And I think, yeah, so that's basically what I've been reading of late. But yeah, I'm just in the Shadowhunter world right now, so that's where I am.
I love it.
All right. So one last question is, what comes next? What are you
Comes
working
next?
on?
Well, talk about like super secret. So I do have a book coming out in June of 2026, and I'm going to be announcing it on the website probably later, maybe later on this summer when I get a cover for it. And all I'm going to say is that it's a straight YA, so it's set in the world of high school theater, and there is a paranormal element.
I love
So,
all of this.
Is there any chance that we'll get that dark fantasy? The dark
the dark
fairies?
fantasy, I might go back to that. I just, as soon, I mean, it's so amazing being like a writer and then being an author is so, I mean, obviously it's the same, but it's different. So I feel like I'm so into the author thing right now. And then, of course, having this next book coming out kind of sooner than I thought, because just of certain things about the book made it have to come out at that time. So I just feel very compressed with just all the work of that. So the other manuscripts that I have need a lot more work, and I need more I need more focus.
Yeah.
Writer brain.
Yeah, writer brain, where I'm not thinking about like all these other things that they get very fractured. The author thing is very fracturing and in brain wise. So I say some people are like lateral thinkers. They can think of a lot of things at the same time. Like, ooh, I got all these things I'm thinking of, and I'm more like a linear thinker. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this thing, this thing, and I can't have too much going on, or I lose my I lose my mind.
Valid. So valid.
So, I'm
Well,
people that can do that lateral, like they just got boxes.
yeah,
Oh, this
tabs
box,
open everywhere.
box. Yeah, I can't do it.
Speaking of future projects, Karin actually has some bad news that she
Little
has
bit of
to
bad
share.
news, just a little bit. Well, now that you have been on the podcast, you're actually legally obligated to come back for future book releases. We're so sorry. Not really
That
No, we're
is
not. Not sorry.
that's like badass news. Yay! To come back. This is so fun. I'd be thrilled to be invited back. That would be amazing. So,
This
and you
has
guys, I
been-
mean, I've been listening to some of your shows, and I'm like, oh my god, the TBR pile. I'm a what is that? There's a Japanese art. I think it's called sanduku. Have you heard of that? Sanduku.
I don't think
So
so.
I think that's the word. I might be wrong, but it's something like that, where it's the art of piling up books that you haven't read, and I'm a master of that. I have piles of
Wait.
books.
My piles are horizontal.
Piles and piles.
I'm
books,
literally
next
like
to my
there's
bed.
literally I'm looking at piles of books right now. Like
Yeah, So you guys are masters of this too, and I think it's called sanduku, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's a word
That's
for that
amazing.
media, and I
I love
love it.
that.
I love having so
That's
many books to
amazing.
read all the time. It's like
Oh, I love it.
so.
Amazing. Oh my
Uh,
gosh. Thank you so much, Mima, for being here. This has been a
This is my
blast.
face hurts.
So much
yeah,
fun.
me too.
The
It's
book
been
is
really fun to meet.
yeah, the book is out now, so go pick up a
Look at that
copy
cover.
of
Love it.
it's
I
like
know.
ugh.
I love it too. They did
So
such a good job.
go pick up a
I really,
copy. You can go into a bookstore and grab it right now, y'all.
Right
Right
now.
now.
Go
Go
get a
do it.
right
copy.
Go
now.
do
Yeah.
it. Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much.
We'll
Yeah,
talk
really
to you
appreciate it.
soon.
Yeah, you
Yay.
guys take care. Thanks again.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye bye.
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 So much fun.
I say it every week, but I mean it every week. I
I
freaking love
know.
her.
Like
That was so much fun.
we're so lucky.
We
Like
really
we
are.
get to do
We were
this regularly.
complaining about how like we're ready for our summer break, but like this is so fun.
It's truly like so reinvigorating to get
Yeah.
to just sit and talk about books. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we do it with each other, but like we also talk to each other
It's different.
24/7, basically. So
Yeah.
it's like it's different. It hits different.
I
Like I
freak
love talking
and
to
a
you,
Holly
but
Black
like,
girly,
oh
like
my God, right?
please.
Amazing.
Please.
Amazing. I love her. That was so much fun. My cheeks hurt.
Me too.
All right.
All
Time
right,
for an
well,
announcement.
you got a big announcement, don't you?
Do I? Do I? How about we start with the littler announcement? Okay, y'all, next week, it's our last episode before break, and we're talking
This
to,
is this is what I was talking about. Because of the name on the bottom of this.
listen, we're talking to Roselle Lim, which is, first of all, very cool in and of itself. But this book is being published by Sweet July, which is an imprint of Zando, and this imprint is headed up by Aisha freaking Curry. Like, I'm not, I'm not well. I'm not well. Anyways, but look at this cover. Look at this book. We're gonna talk Celestial Banquet with
It's
Roselle Lim.
beautiful.
I'm so freaking excited. Like, are you kidding me? Did you see the blurb on the back? That's Stephanie Garber. That says Stephanie Garber. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. This is gonna be so much
I
fun.
want to know what the big announcement is, if that one's a small
The
announcement.
big announcement is that I finished my draft.
Oh, that is a big
I
announcement.
finished my draft. It's done. It is in the hands of people who are reading and providing feedback, and it is vomit inducing.
I've tried to tell you.
It's so scary. I don't like it, but I love it.
Wait, nobody can read mine since it was on a podcast, but like wait until like the general public has access to it.
Ugh.
Scary.
Ugh.
Scary. But super cool too.
Ugh. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird that like it's weird. But I finished it. That was one of the things on my 2025 list. I was like, finished a draft. That's all I said. Finished a draft. I don't care which one it is, just finish one. I did not
You
think
did
it
it.
was going to be a 4,500 word short story that I had no clue I was going to write this year. Uh, Meanwhile, I've got 3 manuscripts in progress, but I did it. I
Yeah.
wrote a first draft, and things are happening. General consensus is that people like it.
Proud of you. Yeah. I
So
liked
far,
it.
so far. I did get some feedback where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Might have to rework some things, but the bones are there. The structure is there. There's just some
I
things
love.
yeah. Anyways, that's the big announcement.
Yay!
All right. We're gonna stop talking
Let's
about it
do
because
a
I'm gonna throw
spiel.
up. We'll talk. We'll do a spiel, and then we're gonna go take a nap, or I'm
We're
gonna go throw up.
because I'm sleepy. I'm a sleepy girl.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're listening to us. Follow us on social media. We are at The Incoherent Fangirl on all the things. Visit our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog. Head over and subscribe to our Patreon for early access to podcast episodes, full video episodes, and bonus content. And you can also do some shopping at our merch store, theincoherentfangirl.com/shop. Lots of cute stuff there. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, design ideas you want to tell us that we're pretty, we will accept all of that in our inboxes. Ooh, inboxes. In our single inbox, the incoherent
Are we
fangirl
breaking up?
at gmail.com.
God.
I'm a sleepy bitch right now, okay? Listen, things are happening. And one last way to support the podcast is to rate and review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Please give us words. We love words.
Give us those words.
She is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
She's at Miss Made in China on all the things.
And once you followed us on social media and you followed the podcast on social media, you can head over and visit our internet besties and do some self-care because it's real important that you take care of yourself.
Required.
Yes. We want you to be around for a long, long time. Okay?
Yeah.
Thanks.
We don't want your death cast call to come.
Please no. First off, you're going to go visit our friend Here Comes the Nerd at herecomesthenerd.com. Use code FANGIRL to get 20% off your first order.
Then you're going to head to onceuponabookclub.com. You can subscribe. You can purchase some existing boxes, any goodies. And there's 2 codes that you can choose from. They do not stack. We don't care which one you use. We love you no matter what. Use either code Karin10 or Mandy10 for 10% off. You just have to spell Karin right, because if you don't spell Karin right, we just might have to force you to stay home while we go on a Greek island getaway.
We will
and you'll
ruin
have to stay
your
here
entire
and run
entire
cross country.
summer. We'll ruin your
Practice
entire
running cross
summer.
country, bitch. We're going to go to Greece instead. Bye.
Wait. In that case, maybe they should spell my name wrong so that we can go to Greece.
We're going to go either way. They just can't go if they spell your name wrong.
Okay. Valid.
Yeah, we're going to make them stay here.
Okay. Valid.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, you're going to go visit our friend Amber D. Lewis and at amberdlewis.com. You're going to add 10 of everything to your cart, and then you're going to use code FANGIRL10 so you get 10% off the 10 of everything you've just added to your cart, which means mathematically you've gotten 1 of everything for free. You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Yeah. We saved you so much money.
Look at us. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, you're going to go support the show husband. So first you're going to go follow at Searchers Believe on all the things. You can go to searchersbelieve.com/shop and get some cute paranormal merch for his paranormal investigation group. Merch there is designed by yours truly. And if you use code FANGIRL10, you'll get 10% off. You can follow at Searchers Podcast. It's Searchers Podcast. I was thinking it was Searchers Pod. On all the things. That's their podcast. My husband is about to have a lot more free time because we're going Beacon full time. So yeah, that's exciting. Personal news. So more episodes are coming. They're talking about filming they're talking about renting a space to film. You live in the most aesthetic haunted mansion house.
Yeah.
That's not actually haunted.
Like,
in the world. What are you doing? So yeah, follow at Searchers Podcast on all the things. Be ready for new episodes. One little addition I can add, it's not the show husband, but it's the show husband's partner, Shane, recently released a book. I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. I'm hoping to read it over the weekend, but it's called Hope on the Other Side of Pain, Grief, Grace, and Ghosts. So it's a little bit of a memoir life story thing. So it's on Kindle Unlimited. Go order it from your favorite bookstore and check it out by Shane Pittman. And then last but most important, go follow at Stream Beacon TV on all the things. Go to streambeacontv.com and sign up for a subscription. This is our new streaming platform that's paranormal, true crime, horror content. If you listen to one of the episodes of the Searchers podcast that we recorded not too long ago, we talk about how hard it is for Southern people to say HORROR because it comes out like whore if we don't
if you don't think about
enunciate. And we don't know how to not sound weird when we enunciate. horror. And if you subscribe to Beacon TV, make sure you use code Fangirl10. You'll get 10% off of your subscription. There are insane things coming. One of the secrets will blow my father's mind. One of the other secrets will blow my 6-year-old niece's mind. We're all over the place with the news that is coming, the things that are
So,
happening later this year.
so much exciting stuff.
It's insane. It's insane. So, yeah, I thought my mom was going to die when I told her, but I can't tell the listeners yet. I hate people who do that. I hate people who do that, who are like, there's so many secrets, but you'll know in time. I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So subscribe to Beacon TV, streambeacontv.com. Use code Fangirl10, 10% off. You will be in the know.
Heck yes. So exciting. Yay.
Yay.
And
That was a
was
face hurting episode of me going.
I feel like it's every week. Like,
Yeah.
how do I not have washboard abs from all the laughing I do every week?
It's really disrespectful,
It's
if I'm
actually
honest.
so rude. So rude. Like,
Yeah.
I laugh so much.
Yeah.
Come on.
Mm.
Whatever.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. We love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.